if you are co-parenting with a narcissist and your kids come back when they go to visit or stay with the other parents very upset, very disturbed, this video is for you. So this is what's happening in your life now. You divorced a narcissist. You're in a sense out of there, but your kids, the kids that you share with this parent, are still having to go back and forth, or maybe even in a way they want to. This is their other parent. And every time they come back, and I hear that a lot with my clients, every time they come back, they are very uh, upset or nervous, or just going through this recovery period until they get used to this home that you're giving them, which is a very different. And then you find yourself in this specific situation in a very difficult position. And this is what I want to start with. This position of getting your kids back from the narcissistic parent is very hard. It puts you in a position when you have to watch what you say on the one hand, and on the other hand, you want to be there for your kid or your kids. So what should you do? Well, there are two sides to this situation, and I put them down here, do's and don'ts. And I want to start actually with the don'ts because it's very tempting to join in. Okay, it's very tempting. You know that what they're saying is true. You've been there yourself. You've been through this abuse. It's very hard to hear that this is something that your kids are going through, and you actually feel at times that okay, if this is what they're saying, I can share my point of view. I can say things that I've been through, maybe just if they are already there and this is what they're thinking and this is fine by them and they actually need to talk about it, then I can join in. I can share my experience. We can all go through this emotion together, and that would be fine. Well, the fact is, I know I again that it's very tempting to do this, but the truth is that joining in is not a good idea. Why? First of all, it's not very parenting like, okay? You are supposed to, even at this very difficult situation, stay the parent, even with older kids. Kids, 50 years old kids. I'm kidding, of course, but even with kids that are young adults already, when you got this divorce, and you see that they are talking about their experience, and it's so tempting to talk to these young adult people and tell them, well, of course you're right, and I've been through this too, and everything is very difficult, and that's the way it is, and your mother or your father, they are narcissists, and you should know that it, and all of that stuff. I know again that it's very tempting to do. It's not your place to do that as a parent. You are supposed to stay their parent and not their friend, even at this difficult situation. And when once you start sharing, you're crossing that line, and that is not something that is not good for them. And the second point, which has to do with the first one, is that you'll be surprised to see that they'll tell you, I'm allowed to say that, you are not allowed to. This is my thing now, not yours. And actually, as upsetting as this is, they are actually right, because genetically speaking, this parent is part of them, not part of you. It's much easier for you to say, well, I took this out of my life. It's not part of who I am. And once you start talking about it as if it's your problem, they will lash out at you, or they'll at least politely say that this is not your thing anymore. I'm sorry, mom or dad, you divorced them. It's not your business. And they actually do say that, I have to say. And it sounds very I know, upsetting. I mean, you're allowed to say it, and I'm not. I was married to this person for 10, 20, 30 years. Why can I not say that? Because this is their story now and not yours. And because, as I said before, you are their parent and you have to stay that way. So that's the first part of this video, what not to do. The second thing, the what should you do, is the word that I love and is very difficult to do in many situations, especially ones like this, and that is validate. So how do you do that? How do you validate and not join in, for example? How do you make them feel that you can understand them, that you're with them, but you're not joining in? Well, again, this is not difficult. It's not a difficult. It's not an. This is difficult. I'm sorry. It's not an easy position to be in. I have to say, I see that with my clients every day. They bite their tongue and they bite their lips or whatever, and they say, well, why do I have to go through all of this? I don't know, but I do know that when you validate and not join in, then you get the reaction you want from your kids, and you can give them what it is that they need. And validating mean, I understand this is very difficult. You can even say I know what you're going through, but just not go into details of what you've been through yourself. I see that's very hard for you. I'm here for you. I give them a hug. Tell them that it's not an easy journey and that you're sorry that they're going through this. And one more thing, do as much as you can, suggest to them and encourage them to go to therapy, to go to somebody with which they can talk about it. And that is not you. As upsetting as this is, you divorced that parent, and even when you were married to him, you couldn't join in, of course, and you couldn't say, well, we are all in this together. And now, as strange as it might be, it's even more important not to join in, and do validate and say that I understand, I'm here for you, I know what you're going through. It's very upsetting for me to say. One thing that a client told me, and is important for me to give as an example: don't tell them, or ask them, did you try to talk to that parent? Because you, and I know that you mean well by saying that, but when you say that, you actually put the kid on the spot and make them feel that maybe they didn't do something right. And of course, that is not what you meant, not at all. But still, it feels that way in a way. And you encourage them to talk to the narcissist. And we all know that that is pointless in many ways, and that is not going to accomplish anything for them. So that question, even though you really want to help, that is also not relevant, and that is not validation. Validation is just being there, saying, I understand, I know what you're talking about. It's very difficult. And again, encourage them to go to therapy with somebody who understands narcissism and understands what they're going through, because that is where they can talk about it actually freely, and that is where they can go through the process of acknowledging who their parent is and going through the motion of recovery and helping themselves. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. Not an easy topic, not at all. I know, not as easy position to be in, not at all. But these are the two go-to rules, generally speaking. Don't join in, and do validate your kids when they come back from the other parent who is a narcissist, and they are all worked up and they've been through a lot, and you know that, and you see it, and you really want to reach out and help. These are the two things that you shouldn't do and you should do. And I really, really hope that this video will help you do that, because it, again, as I said in the beginning, it's not an easy position to be with. It's actually very difficult. Thank you so much for being here. Hope subscribe to this channel and join us. Gradually, it will grow, and we'll have more and more videos on these two topics: the pleasing people, and highly sensitive people, and the people who are going through or went through narcissistic abuse, and the connection between them, because many times it's the same person. Thank you again, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.